Hey there, welcome back. If you're like me, and like millions of other people, you've had these words memorized since you were, since before you even knew what they meant. The Lord's Prayer. It's almost part of our cultural DNA, isn't it? It's imprinted on us. And we say it at funerals, at weddings, when we're scared, when we're looking for hope. It's like a comfortable old blanket. But let's be honest for a second, just you and me. Have you ever really said it and felt empty? Have you ever mumbled those words over and over, and when you said amen, you felt like you were just talking to the ceiling? You felt like you'd just performed a beautiful ancient ritual, but it didn't hit you. Not in the place that really matters. Yeah, me too. For years. I'm a biblical specialist. I've spent my life studying these texts, and for the longest time, even for me, it was just repetition. And that's because we were taught that this is a prayer, a petition, a list of things to ask for from a distant king, a father who is very, very far away in heaven. What if I told you that's not what it is? What if I told you the Lord's Prayer isn't a request? It's a spiritual technology. What if I told you that every line isn't a petition but a code, an activation code, a map, not to get into heaven after you die, but to unlock the kingdom inside you, right now? In my 20 years of doing this work, of decoding ancient texts and trying to find what they really mean for our modern lives, for us, people in our 20s, 30 seconds, 40 seconds, 50 seconds, who are grappling with the real world, this discovery changed everything. And here's the key. Jesus didn't say, repeat these words like a magic spell. He said, so pray like this. It's a template, a blueprint, a user manual, if you will, for rewiring your consciousness, for taking you from feeling separate, small, and scared, and returning you to your original, magnificent, and divine self. If you've ever felt there was more than what you were taught in Sunday school, if these words, despite the emptiness, still gave you a strange chill you couldn't explain, then you're not just curious, you're remembering. So today, I want us to set aside what we think we know. I want us to decode this together, and I promise you, if you stay with me, by the end of this video, you will never say this prayer the same way again. Let's begin. All right. The first line, the one we almost skip over to get to the real part of the prayer. Our Father, who art in heaven. We're stopping right there. Don't rush past it. The first word, just that one word. Our, not my. Immediately, right at the gate, the entire structure of the individual ego starts to dissolve. Think about it. In our world, especially in America, everything is I. My problems, my success, my fears, my salvation. We are trained to think as individual islands. We pray as a small, separate me, trying to shout loud enough for a distant God to hear us over the noise. And Jesus starts by saying, nope, stop. The moment you say our, you are no longer praying alone. You are stepping into a river of consciousness. You are standing in invisible communion with every other soul that is also searching, also longing, also broken. You are speaking as part of a collective body, a divine family. Instantly, your loneliness, your isolation, it starts to lose its power. You aren't an orphan trying to get home. You are remembering you never left the family. It's a quantum shift in psychology. But then we get to the second word, Father, and sigh. Oh, this word has caused so much pain. For years, as a scholar, I wrestled with this. For so many of us, the word Father carries baggage. It can mean absence. It can mean judgment, anger, or just a distant masculine figure on a throne with a white beard, keeping track of your every mistake. And if that's the image you have in your head, how can you ever get close? How can you pray without fear? This is where our expertise has to come in. This is where we have to do what this channel always does. Go back to the original text. Jesus didn't speak English. He didn't speak Greek as his primary language. He spoke Aramaic, and the word he used, which was later translated as Father, was Abun. And Abun, oh, this word is beautiful. It's not gendered. It is not male or female. It's a compound word. It blends both the father and mother energy. It means the source, the divine womb, the breather of life. It is the generative source from which all things, including you, were born, were. Do you see the difference? Saying Father makes us feel like subjects talking to a king. Saying Abun feels like a child whispering to the universe that birthed it. This is not a God of doctrine. This is a God of existence. When you say Abun, you are not saying, "Oh, great man in the sky." You are saying, "Oh, divine source from which I am made. Oh, cosmic breath that is breathing in my own chest." This changes everything. It means you are not a mistake. You did not begin in sin. You are not a fallen creature trying to earn love. You are a divine intention. You are a spark from the eternal flame. And this prayer is reminding you, remember who you really are. I know this is a lot to take in. It shifts the whole foundation, and that's just the first 2 words. If this kind of deep dive, this kind of decoding to find the truth behind the religion is what you're looking for, I truly want to invite you to join our community. This is what we do on Bible and History. We search for the truth, no matter where it leads us. So if you haven't, take a second. Hit that subscribe button. It's not just about numbers, it's about saying you're part of this conversation. Okay, we have the collective connection. We have Father Source, Abun, our divine origin. Now the rest of the phrase, who art in heaven. And this is where 99% of us stop thinking. We hear in heaven and our minds immediately looks up. Go up there. Clouds, pearly gates, St. Peter, a faraway place we hope to get to someday if we're good enough, right? Jesus never pointed up, not once. What did he say? Over and over and over. The kingdom of God is where? Is within you. So if the kingdom is within us, then heaven cannot be a location. It must be a dimension. It's a frequency, a state of consciousness. Heaven is not a place on a map. It is the space inside you that is still untouched. It's the garden beneath all the noise. It's the part of you that was never wounded. The part of you that still remembers Abun. The part of you that never left the source. When you say, "Our Father who art in heaven," you are not trying to make a long-distance call to a distant galaxy. You are, leans forward, calling internally. You are saying, "Oh, divine source of us all, who exists in the dimension of absolute truth within me." You are waking up the part of yourself that is already in heaven. The part of you that isn't worried about the electric bill. The part of you that isn't obsessed with what your co-worker said about you. The part of you that doesn't carry the scars of your past. This is not a prayer to a God in the sky. This is a prayer from your human self to your divine self, asking it to wake up and take over. That's the shift. When you say this first line, don't say it from your throat. Say it from your deepest memory. Not the memory of last week, but the memory of your soul. Say it like someone who is remembering where they came from. Our source, who is in the divine space within me. You see, there's no begging in that. There is only recognition, remembrance. And that remembrance, that activation, preps us for the next line. Because once you've established that internal connection, you have to tune the frequency. Hallowed be thy name, honestly. This line has always felt a little archaic, hasn't it? Hallowed. We don't use that word. It sounds like something from Shakespeare. Most of us just think it means, your name is great, or we respect your name. And yes, it means that. But that's the surface. If the first line is connecting to the source, this second line is attuning to the source. Here, we have to go back to history again. As a scholar, this is one of the most fascinating things. In the ancient Hebrew tradition, the name of God, whispers, was not spoken. It was too sacred, too powerful. It was written as 4 letters, Yod, He, Vav, He, YHWH. Scholars call it the Tetragrammaton, the 4 letters. They didn't even try to pronounce it. They didn't know how. And here's why, and this is amazing. It wasn't a word, it was a vibration. Some of the greatest Jewish mystics taught that these 4 letters actually represent the sound of breath. Inhale slowly and deeply. Yod, H. Exhale slowly. Vav, H. It wasn't a title. It wasn't a name like David or Sarah. It was the sound of life itself. It was the rhythm of the cosmos, the inhale and exhale of the galaxies, the breath that is happening in your chest right now. Every living thing, you, me, your dog, the bird outside your window, is speaking the name of God with every single breath, without even realizing it. Now, go back to that line with this understanding. Hallowed be thy name. It doesn't mean, let's all respect the word God. It means, let the divine vibration of life be hallowed, be made holy, inside of me. It means, let my breath become a prayer. It's a call to attunement. We all know that feeling of being out of tune, right? That feeling of anxiety, rushing, stress. That's when our frequency makes messy hand gesture, all static. The noise of the world has knocked us out of harmony. This line, "Hallowed be thy name," is your spiritual tuning fork. When you say it, you're not just saying words, you're invited to stop. Inhales, Yod, H. Exhales, Vav, H. You are saying, I want to vibrate at the frequency of the source. I want to harmonize with the rhythm of creation. Let the holiness of this breath you gave me, be recognized. Let it be hallowed. Jesus wasn't trying to give you another religion. He was trying to give you back to your own body, back to your own breath. He was saying, you want to find God? Don't look in the sky, don't look in the scrolls. Start by listening to your own breathing. That's where he's hidden. And here's the thing, you can't get this wrong. You're breathing, aren't you? You're participating. This is so profound. It takes all the shame and guilt away. You're not unworthy to pray. You are alive. You are breathing. Therefore, you are in the divine presence. And when you tune your frequency, when you get in harmony, what happens next? You're ready to receive. You're ready to create. Which brings us to the next part. And this is where the prayer moves from internal to action. And, hey, I just want to pause for a second. I know we're going deep. We're taking apart things we've held onto for decades. That can be intimidating. It can feel like you're losing something. But I promise you, you're not losing anything. You're just trading in a stick figure drawing for a masterpiece. If you're feeling resistance, that's good. It means you're really listening. If you're feeling excited, that's good too. It means you're remembering. Either way, I'm just glad you're here. This is exactly the kind of conversation I created Bible and history to have. Real adult conversations about faith, history, and what it all means. If you value this space, please consider hitting that subscribe button. It helps us keep these important conversations going. All right, we've connected to the source within, our Father. We've tuned our frequency to the divine breath. Hallowed be thy name. Now, thy kingdom come. This line is, oh, it's the heartbeat of Jesus' entire message. Again, let's deconstruct. What were we taught? We were taught the kingdom is heaven. It's a place, looks up there. A reward we get after we die if we played by the rules. So when we say, thy kingdom come, we're saying, please hurry up and bring on the apocalypse so we can escape this messy place and go to the good place. It's a theology of escape. And it is the exact opposite of what Jesus taught. What did he say? The kingdom is within you. So if the kingdom is already inside, what does come mean? It doesn't mean come to me from the outside. It means be birthed from me. This is not a petition. This is an activation command. Leans forward, voice more assertive. When you say, thy kingdom come, you are not a passive beggar. You are an active co-creator. You are saying, let the divine blueprint, the kingdom of perfection, peace, and order, which already exists inside me as potential, let it now become manifest externally through me. Think about it. You look at the world, you see chaos, corruption, fear, division. That is not the kingdom. That is, let's call it, the empire of man, the empire of the ego. This prayer is an act of divine rebellion. It says, I am done living in the fake empire of fear. I am now choosing to be a portal. I am the entry point. I am the landing strip for the kingdom of truth. How terrifying is that to institutions of power? Organized religion wants you to wait for the kingdom. They want to be the gatekeepers. Jesus came and said, nope, no gatekeepers. You are the gate. You are the portal. When you say, thy kingdom come, you are agreeing to become the place where heaven and earth meet. What does that mean practically? It means how you treat the cashier at the grocery store. Is the kingdom coming? It means how you answer your boss's email. Is the kingdom coming? It means the patience you have with your children or with your aging parents. That is the kingdom coming. It doesn't fall from the sky. It rises from within you. And that's why the very next line is so critical, because it tells us how. Thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. We had the kingdom as the blueprint. Now the will is the action. And again, we have been taught this word so wrong. We were taught thy will be done means resignation, passive acceptance. A tragedy happens. Well, it was God's will. An illness strikes. We must accept God's will. It turns God into a cosmic tyrant and us into helpless pawns. It has been used for centuries to keep people quiet and accepting of their own oppression. Don't complain about your lot in life. It's God's will. Shakes head, a little angry. That is a blasphemy. That is not what Jesus meant. Again, we have to go to the language. The Aramaic word for will here is shayana, and shayana doesn't mean command or ironclad fate. It means creative intention, divine desire, the deep purpose. It's much closer to the flow than the law. So when you say, "Thy will be done," you are not saying, "I guess I'll just accept whatever horrible thing happens." You are saying, "Let the great, beautiful, harmonious, creative intention of the source flow through me. Let me be an instrument of shayana." You are no longer talking about your will, the little ego, against God's will, the big king. You are talking about aligning your little will with the great creative flow of the universe. It's when a musician gestures is just lost in the music. It's when a programmer finds the flow and writes perfect code. It's when a mother knows exactly the right thing to say to her crying child. That is shayana. That is the will being done. And then the finale, on earth as it is in heaven. This is the connecting line. What is heaven? We've covered it. It's the inner dimension, the invisible world of ideas, potential, and perfection. What is earth? It's this. Tap's chest, Tap's desk. The visible world. Your body, your bills, your relationships. This line is the prayer for manifestation. It says, "Let what is true in the invisible world, the truth of peace, love, wholeness, be made visible in my visible world." You were not born to escape this earth. You were born to transfigure it. You were born to make your earth, your daily life, look like your inner heaven. You are the bridge. You are the conduit. And smiles. If you're going to do all this big, cosmic, world-changing work, you're going to need some energy. You're going to need some food. And that brings us to the next line, and it's a big shift. We've been up in this high cosmic plane. Now the prayer seems to makes a landing gesture. Come to a screeching halt. Give us this day our daily bread. It seems so mundane, doesn't it? We were just talking about dimensions and kingdoms and creative wills, and now we're asking for a sandwich. This is where most people get confused. They think the prayer suddenly switches from spiritual to material, and yes, it is material. Jesus was very practical. He knew we needed to eat. He knew we had bills. But what if that's not all it is? What if bread here has a double meaning? We have to be historians again. In the original Greek of the Gospel, where this prayer is recorded, the word translated as daily is a very, very strange word. It's the word epiousios. What's strange about it? It appears nowhere else in all of ancient Greek literature, just here. Scholars have been fighting over it for 2,000 years. What does it mean? Literally, it seems to mean super essential or super substantial. Some of the oldest translations even render it as bread of tomorrow. It's not just bread for today, it's the bread of the age to come. So, what's going on here? Jesus is playing with words. He's speaking on two levels at once. He was a genius at this. On one level, he's saying, yes, trust the source for your physical needs today. Don't worry about the next 10 years, just today. That's a profound lesson in presence and anti-anxiety. But on the deeper epiousios level, he's saying something else. He's saying, give us today our spiritual bread. What bread? Remember in the Old Testament, when the Israelites were in the desert, what were they fed? Manna, bread from heaven. And what was the rule about manna? You could only gather enough for one day. If you tried to hoard it, it rotted. See the parallel? This daily bread, this super essential bread, is presence, it's remembrance, it's your connection to the source. And just like manna, you cannot live on yesterday's connection. You can't live on that one great spiritual experience you had 10 years ago. It won't feed you today. This prayer is a reminder. Today, right now, you must return to the well. You must receive your spiritual nourishment fresh for this day. The world is starving us, isn't it? We scroll for hours on our phones, looking for something. We don't know what. And we end up feeling emptier than when we started. We are starving, not for food, but for meaning, for presence, for epiousios. This line is the prayer. Today, feed my soul. Remind me of the truth. Feed me the bread of presence so I don't try to fill the emptiness with junk. And then, Jesus flips the script. Later in the Gospels, what does he say? Looks intently. I am the bread of life. He's not just teaching you to ask for bread. He's teaching you to become the bread. You are called not just to be fed. You are called to be the nourishment for a starving world. To be a living presence of peace and love for those around you. You see the power in that? It starts with recognizing you're empty and need to be filled. And it ends with you being so full that you become, spreads arms wide, a feast for others. And here's the thing. There is one major reason we can't receive this bread. One reason we come to the spiritual table and we can't eat. There's a blockage, a weight we're carrying, something that's stopping the flow. And Jesus, in his genius, addresses that exact thing right next. Before we get to that part, which is arguably the hardest part, I just want to say thank you. Seriously, thank you for staying with me. Thank you for being willing to look at these old things in a new way. This work isn't easy. Deconstructing your faith, it can feel lonely. People might think you're being weird or that you're losing your religion, but you're not losing it. You're finding it, maybe for the first time. If you feel that way, if you feel like you're on this journey alone, you're not. There is a community here. That's why I'm so passionate about this Bible and History channel. Look in the comments. You will find thousands of other people just like you asking the same questions. So if you haven't hit subscribe, join the conversation. You belong here. Okay, the blockage, the reason we can't receive the spiritual bread. And forgive us our debts, as we forgive our debtors. Some translations say trespasses or sins. The original word is closest to debts, and this is critical. A debt is something owed. This isn't just about bad things you did, it's deeper than that. A debt is an unresolved energetic contract. When someone hurts you deeply and you hold on to that resentment, you are holding a debt. They owe you an apology. They owe you recognition. They owe you something. And when you hurt someone and you carry that guilt, that is also a debt. And Jesus in this prayer reveals one of the most terrifying and liberating spiritual laws in the universe. Pay attention to the structure. It does not say, forgive us our debts, and then we'll go forgive others. It does not say, forgive us our debts because we forgave others. It says, as, forgive us our debts in the same way, to the same degree, with the same freedom as we forgive others. Pauses for effect. It's a mirror. It's a closed loop. What Jesus is saying is, the source, the universe, isn't withholding forgiveness from you. Forgiveness is the natural state of the cosmos. It's like air, it's everywhere. But you can't breathe it in if your hands are, clenches fists, gripped around someone else's throat. Your resentment, your anger, your judgment. It's not hurting them nearly as much as it is blocking your ability to receive your own healing. In my years of working with people through these texts, this is where people get the most stuck. But David, they say, they don't deserve to be forgiven. You don't know what they did to me. And I say, you're right. They probably don't, but you do. Do you deserve to be free? Do you deserve to have peace? Do you deserve to receive your daily bread? Because forgiveness, leans forward, is never about the other person. Forgiveness is not saying, what you did was okay. Forgiveness is saying, what you did will no longer have control over me. Forgiveness is the act of liberating yourself from the prison of your past. It's you cutting the energetic contract that is draining your life force. This prayer is saying, I am willing to release others from their debts to me so that I can be released from my own. What's the biggest debt you're carrying? The guilt over what you did 20 years ago, the anger at your father or mother, the bitterness over a relationship that ended badly. That is the blockage. That is the stone in front of the tomb. And Jesus is handing you the key. Forgive them, not for them, for you. It's a spiritual law. It's like gravity. You cannot receive release if you are enforcing bondage. And when you do it, when you cut those cords, exhales, the air is sweet, the bread is nourishing, you can breathe again. But the work isn't over. Just because you're free doesn't mean the road ahead is easy, because now you're clean, you're fed, you're released. That means you're ready for the next test. And lead us not into temptation. Again, stop, deconstruct the word temptation. Where does our mind instantly go? Sign, bad things, mock whisper, the dark side, chocolate, clicking on the wrong link. We think this is a prayer about behavior. God, please don't let me do bad things. Help me be good. We think it's about sin management. And sure, that's not a bad idea, but smiles. It's so much deeper than that. It always is. Again, the original language. The Greek word here is Peirasmos. And Peirasmos doesn't really mean temptation in the way we think of it. It means a test, a trial, a proving, a refining fire. This is not a prayer to avoid hard things. This is a prayer to survive them with integrity. And the real temptation, the real test, leans forward, usually doesn't come as something dark and evil. It comes as something bright. It comes as a shortcut. Think about Jesus in the desert. What was he tempted by? Was he tempted to go steal or lie? Number. He was tempted by power. He was tempted by glory. He was offered the kingdoms of the world. The temptation wasn't about being bad. The temptation was about getting glory without the pain. It was about taking the crown without the cross. It was about getting premature power. And this, my friends, this is the Peirasmos that our generation, 25 to 50, faces every single day. It's the temptation to take the high-paying job that kills your soul instead of the harder, truer path. It's the temptation to create a perfect image on social media instead of embracing your real, messy, authentic self. It's the temptation to cut the corner, to cheat the system, to take the credit you didn't really earn. The real temptation isn't that it will make you bad. It's that it will make you fake. It will give you a fake crown, a fake kingdom. So when you pray, lead us not into temptation. You're not saying, please keep me away from the chocolate cake. You are saying, O source, when the test comes, and it will, when I am offered the shortcut, when I am tempted by the false light of easy power and glory, please remind me of my truth. Please keep me authentic. Please don't let me trade my soul for a counterfeit crown. It's a prayer for integrity. It's a prayer that says, I would rather fail with authenticity than succeed as a fraud. That's a brave prayer, because that refining fire, looks down, is hot. And sometimes it's not just false light. Sometimes it's just darkness. We're almost at the end. If you are still here, I want to honor you. We have just walked through 2,000 years of history, 3 different languages, and some of the most profound psychological and spiritual concepts humanity has ever wrestled with. This is not fast or easy content. It demands something of you. And that's the whole point of Bible and history. We believe that you, our audience, aren't just smart, you're wise, you're craving substance. If I'm right about you, if this is where you belong, this is my last invitation in this video. Hit subscribe, become an official part of this community of decoders. The last line, we've asked for integrity to get through the Peirasmos, the test, the false light, and now, but deliver us from evil. Again, our minds immediately jump to, makes a scary face, demons, horns, a red guy with a pitchfork. We think evil is an external force, something out there that's trying to get us, and throughout history, humans have done horrible things in the name of fighting that external evil. But Jesus, as always, is more subtle. The Greek word here is Poneros, and Poneros doesn't mean a supernatural entity. It means the hurtful one, the burden, the thing that brings toil and suffering, the tormentor, and the most subtle and persistent tormentor that most of us will ever know is not out there, points to his temple. It's in here. It's the inner captor. It's your false self. It's the voice in your head, the one you think is you, but isn't. It's the voice that whispers to you that you are not good enough, reminds you of your every failure, tells you that you will always be stuck, tells you that you are your trauma, you are the bad thing that happened to you, compares you to everyone else and tells you you're losing. That is Poneros. That is the evil most of us wrestle with every single day. Evil isn't a demon that wants to possess your body. Evil is a false narrative that wants to possess your story. It wants to possess your identity. It is the false self. The identity built from fear, trauma, and shame, created as a defense mechanism when you were a child and never left. It's the mask that has grown onto your skin. When you pray, deliver us from evil, this is not a defensive prayer. Assertive. It is a call for exorcism. It is a declaration of war. You are saying, "O source, deliver me from who I pretend to be. Deliver me from the story that I am broken and unfixable. Deliver me from the identity that was built on fear. Rip this mask off, even if it hurts, and remind me who I really am, underneath it all." This is the final act of liberation. It's the moment you stand in the rubble of your false self and realize you are not the rubble. You are the sky that remains when the clouds clear. You are the child of Abun, You are the divine spark that was never ever put out, and that is where the prayer leads us. So, there it is. Do you see? It's not a list of requests, it's a journey. It's a map on how to become human again. Let's review it just real quick. You start by dissolving the ego and connecting to the divine source within you. Our Father, who art in heaven. You attune your frequency to the vibration of life itself through your breath. Hallowed be thy name. You declare your intention to be a portal for the divine blueprint to manifest through you. Thy kingdom come. You align your creative intention with the cosmic flow, committing to make visible the invisible. Thy will be done. You receive spiritual nourishment, presence for this day, and commit to become that nourishment for others. Daily bread. You release all blockages by cutting the energetic contracts of resentment and guilt, freeing others and therefore freeing yourself. Forgive us our debts. You ask for the integrity to pass through life's tests, the temptations of premature power and false light. Lead us not into temptation. And finally, you demand the ultimate exorcism, the liberation from the false self and all its lies, so your true divine self can be free. Deliver us from evil. This is the prayer. It's not something you say, it's something you live, it's something you become. It's the greatest spiritual technology ever given to us, hidden in plain sight. My invitation to you today is not to believe everything I've said. My invitation is to go try it. The next time you feel lost or scared or empty, don't recite these words. Go pray them. Walk the map one step at a time. Connect. Attune, declare, align. Receive, release, stand firm, liberate, and see. Smiles. See if the kingdom inside you doesn't start to come. Thank you so much for your time. It's been an honor. Be well, and I'll see you in the next video.